All right, ladies and gentlemen. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the fallout of Ghosts of Yotei. What are we talking about? Well, there is a current PR storm that is happening right now for Ghost of Yotei. There is an article that is being spread around on social media by every single shill account that is desperate to want to own the chuds, right? If you look over here on this particular article, Ghosts of Yotei has reportedly sold over 1 million copies, selling faster than Ghosts of Tsushima. Now, this came from a website called Tech for Gamers, right? Not exactly a website I visit very often. So when I see a website like this post an article like this, I'm thinking to myself, well, that's highly sus, right? It's almost a little bit too convenient. And if you look at the title, they are very clearly wanting to send a message, right? Everybody wants to be able to say that this game sold faster than Ghosts of Tsushima. I even predicted many months ago that this was going to be their course of action when Yotei came out. Because of course it is, right? Look at what happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows. They did the same exact thing. They wanted to run the story about how Assassin's Creed Shadows was the #1 selling Assassin's Creed out of the entire series except for Valhalla. Apparently they couldn't beat Valhalla enough, I suppose, but they're doing the same thing here with Ghosts of Yotei. But here's the difference. This is not Sony doing it. This is not PlayStation doing it. This is a random fucking website that's doing it. And here's why. Because they want to be the first one that is going to be in the algorithm reporting 1 million copies sold, so that when the game eventually does surpass 1 million copies sold and PlayStation announces it officially, they could be the one that everybody cites as the source of the 1 million copies sold. This is the reason why they do it, even though right now it's bullshit. So in any case, I made this post over on X, and I'm going to read to you in its entirety because it pretty much summarizes what I'm saying. And then we're going to go over the article itself. We got screenshots that we're going to go over showcasing how ridiculous this is. And wait till you find out what the source of this information is. Wait till you find out where this 1 million copies sold number came from, because we all know there is no official source of any numbers. We are still, till this day, waiting to find out what the official source numbers are for Assassin's Creed Shadow sales. We don't have it. All we have is a promise from Circana that Assassin's Creed Shadows was totally the #2 selling game in the entire country for the entire year, but they don't tell you the exact number, but they'll tell you numbers for other games. Keep this in mind as we continue this story. So I said the PR storm is out in full effect for Ghosts of Yotei. I'm honestly shocked that it's happening so fast, but the level of nonsense that we are seeing is through the roof. This is the article that is currently being thrown around right now, trying to quickly shift the narrative of Yotei in its favor as soon as possible. They claim that the game has sold over 1 million copies, conveniently just barely passing Tsushima's original number on day one. Now, reason why I say it's convenient is because, quite frankly, it is, right? They want this game to beat Tsushima because everybody was questioning not whether or not the game was going to sell well. I always knew that the game was going to sell decent. My question was two things. Number one, is it going to sell as good as Tsushima? And number two, is it going to sell well in Japan? Because Tsushima set records in Japan. Over 200,000 physical copies sold within 1 week of the first week of the game being out. It set records for Western games in Japan. It was unheard of. So I'd be very curious to see whether or not Yotei follows that same exact, trajectory. But I highly doubt it. In any case, in this article, they claim that Yotei's loved more than Tsushima, and that community sentiment is strong, essentially. Now, guys, I don't know how, like, the average playtime right now for Yotei is probably like 3 hours. How are you going to make this entire article and make this claim that Yotei is loved more than Tsushima? I'm not even kidding. I'll show you the screenshot. Here it is. As of 2024, Ghost of Tsushima has sold over 13 million copies, which is decent number for an exclusive title. But in that time frame, it is also released on PC. The general response towards Yotei is more positive, hinting at good things to come. It's more positive, ladies and gentlemen, towards Yotei. I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what they're reading. But here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? If you are a sequel to a video game that was a brand new IP. It was an original IP at the time. It had no history behind it. It had absolutely nothing behind it. All it was a new IP. If you sell the same amount of copies with the sequel as you did with the brand new IP, I feel like that is lackluster, in my opinion. I really do. I feel like that's lackluster. All that tells me is that you just clearly didn't grow your audience over time. You probably even lost your audience over time, but there is enough people there to buy the sequel to match the numbers of the brand new IP when it came out, right? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But in any case, let's continue. So, who is their source for this information? Well, it's a random tweet from an account with less than 10,000 followers. What is that account source? Well, it's Trust Me Bro. Now, who are they sourcing? This is the account right here. It's an account called Millie A, who claims to be an insider in the gaming industry with less than 10,000 followers on X, right? It says hearing 1.3 million sold on the first day for Yotei, ever so slightly ahead of Tsushima's first 24 hours of 1.25 million. Tsushima kept pace on its second day with another 1.15 million sold. Can Yotei keep up? Question mark. Guys, oh my God, bro. This thing has 784 views. They wrote an entire article claiming 1 million copies sold on a tweet with 784 views. I mean, what the fuck are we doing, bro? What are we doing at this point? You might as well have used Reddit. Sincerely, you might as well have used Reddit at that point. But in any case, so you have accounts already spamming X, sourcing this one article as a massive win for Yotei, which, to be fair, was expected. These accounts did the same thing with every single controversial game, and yet 95% of the games they do this for, they always end up failing, resulting in layoffs, or even worse, studio closures. But hey, as long as you get to have the perception of dunking on the chuds, I guess that's all that matters. Ghost of Yotei was always going to survive off the back of Tsushima and sell copies. I'm extremely curious to see how this game performs in Japan personally, as Tsushima set records in Japan for a Western game or even games in general. This game will obviously sell over 1 million copies pretty early on, but to claim it this soon and to use this level of sourcing just shows me that it hasn't happened yet and that they want everyone to quickly believe that it has, because this game's message means more to them than anything else. Fake it until you make it. So here's what I'm going to tell you. There's been no official announcement from Sony or PlayStation quite yet. That is major sus, in my opinion, because keep in mind, every single studio, every single company wants to post on social media immediately the moment they cross any kind of sales goal. They immediately want to do it. You want to know the reason why they're not doing it? Is because unlike Game Pass or unlike Ubisoft, with players engaged, right? Unlike Ubisoft, PlayStation doesn't have that. PlayStation doesn't have players engaged. They're not releasing this game day one on their PS Plus platform. They're not doing that, right? You have to sell copies. You have to sell the game. So the reason why they're not reporting it is because they can't flat out lie about it. They have to tell you exactly how many copies they sold, because any statement they make publicly has to be true to some extent. Otherwise, their shareholders can get them real bad for it. So you can't openly lie about sales. You can't say we sold 2 million copies and you only sold 800,000. You can't do that, because the shareholders are going to be like, well, you told us you said publicly 2 million. Where's the 2 million? You can't do that. PlayStation doesn't have that option. So my thing is, if they sold 1 million copies in the first day, they would have announced it today. They would have announced it today. They would not be waiting. They cannot wait. You mean to tell me Sucker Punch, the people who are openly celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk and attacking gamers left and right, that have people who are working for them that apparently are part of Antifa? Sucker Punch. You mean to tell me Sucker Punch is not going to want to celebrate 1 million copies sold in 24 hours? Of course they're going to want to celebrate it. They will be talking about it immediately. But the fact that they're not tells me that they have not hit that yet. And also keep in mind, guys, even if they sold 1 million copies, that is always including the copies they sold to retailers at wholesale. So whatever they sold to GameStop, whatever they sold to Amazon, whatever they sold to all these companies that sell video games for them, that is included in their 1 million copies sold. If they're honest, they will tell you 1 million copies shipped, but they're not going to do that, right? Expedition 33 was honest. When they said they sold 1 million copies, they made sure to tell you that that was including copies shipped. I highly doubt that Sucker Punch is going to do the same, right? So we're going to find out and we're going to see. But I have one more part of the screenshot that I want to showcase to you really quick. Again, these are just comments that I'm getting from people. This person says, yeah, sure, basically responding to my thread. and they say, and they quote this. It's like, bro, if you're gonna quote this, at least look into it. At least read this. I understand you don't like me, you hate me for whatever reason. That's fine. You're allowed to hate me. But goddamn, bro, at least read into it and understand what you're quoting with your entire chest and making it seem like you know what you're talking about, bro. What are you talking about? You're quoting somebody who's using a tweet that's got 784 views. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So in any case, ladies and gentlemen, one thing is, Ahmad, shout out to Ahmad. I was talking to him on X. He says, I know PSN Profiles is an opt-in website, but we can compare the numbers. Now, here's why I don't like showcasing PSN Profiles. 2 reasons, okay? Number 1 is because right now the game is fresh and most people haven't added it to their account. That's just being honest, okay? Number 2, it's an opt-in service. So you have to opt in order for it to be showcased on PSN Profiles. They're not pulling the information from PlayStation. They're pulling it from you opting in. So the amount of people that are on PSN Profiles is people who have opted in for it, right? But even so, looking at the numbers, this game has also been out for a long time. Right? Ghost of Tsushima has been out for a long time. Yotei's been out for only 24 hours. So it being at 11,000 game owners and Tsushima being at 337,000, that's really not saying much because they've had a lot more time for people to buy the game and add it to their profile. Just being real with you. So I don't like using PSN Profiles personally, but it is funny to dunk on it, obviously. It is funny to see the number difference right now at the current time. So we're going to see what ends up happening with Ghost of Yotei. I'm just waiting for the official announcement from PlayStation and Sucker Punch that they passed 1 million copies sold. That way, we all know it's coming. Like, I already know that it's coming, but to see people try to jump the gun like this and try to make it seem as if it happened now when it clearly didn't because the main companies haven't even announced it tells me everything I need to know about the message and how important it is for Yotei, for these people who are shills who want to own the chuds, right? This game is super important to them. The message is super important to them. They only succeed when they latch on to previous games that already have a major fan base, because we all know not a single one of them are playing Relooted right now. Right? They want to talk about these games that are diverse, equity, and inclusion, all that stuff, but not a single fucking one of them are playing Relooted. That game has one person playing the demo right now, and that's it, if they're lucky. It's an absolute joke. So in any case, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this article? What do you think about the gaslighting? What do you think about all of this fake fucking news that's coming out right now about Yotei? The game is obviously going to sell over 1 million copies. There is no reason to jump the gun like this and fake it this hard. It only makes you look desperate. But you guys let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys on the next one.